Okay, this is Hakim Awiyan. He was the indigenous knowledge keeper of the Giza Plateau. And he said one thing that was very important to all of this, and that profound bit of information was that the center pyramid was the first pyramid built upon the plateau, according to their tradition. Why is it important? Because if this is the first pyramid built on the plateau, why were these structures added so close? I mean, who would build their pyramids right up on top of each other like this? Where else is it done? It's not really done. So this is a special situation going on here. This pyramid, if it is the first pyramid, has significance because what I believe is that Edgar Cayce was right, and this was built by the survivors of the Atlantean race in their attempt to perpetuate their technology and their culture. And they came here and they built this. But there was a further catastrophe that happened since they built this structure, which I believe is quite old. I won't throw a year on it because I'm just guessing, but I would say older than 15,000 years. This structure was built at a time when the sky was closer to the earth. It sounds strange. The sky was closer to the earth. And it was at the time of the cataclysms that the sky had risen up and the gods had left. But I get ahead of myself. So this is known in part as the House of Osiris, which to me makes this the mountain of Osiris, the mountain of the gods. If this is Osiris and there's a connection here, then I believe that connection pertains to the main structure. And why is that significant? If this was the first structure built, Project Osiris, okay, which is really saying O tree, because Cirrus, the word, is a name of a type of tree that had branching structure. And that's what they saw when they looked above the plateau and this thing was in operation. So basically, this is Osiris. Why is that important? Osiris was given a rope ladder to him by the goddess Nuit. And Nuit, having given him this rope ladder, enabled him to travel. But something happened, and that was the time when the sky rose up, like it is in our current time. The sky rose up. We'll get into that. And when the sky rose up, this structure, which was designed for a different world, a different earth, was no longer sufficient to make the connection, to create the field strong enough to make the connection, because it had changed in its characteristics of the earth and the atmosphere, and the electromagnetic field of the earth had obviously changed. So what they did is they added two more structures to complete this as a complex and allow it to function again. And where do we get that a parallel for that? We get the parallel from that directly from the text where Osiris, okay, having been given this ladder by the goddess, could not mount it. So he had to be given aid, and he was given aid by Set and Horus. So what I contend is that this is Osiris, Project Set, and Project Horus, and that they were designed to reactivate this site and make it functional again. And they did. Oh, let's see. Where am I? Oh, bing. Set, Horus, and Osiris. You see, Osiris is clearly set up as the centerpiece of this whole thing here. Okay? And they all three work together. The amulet of the two fingers symbolizes Horus and Set giving aid to Osiris to mount the ladder to heaven. They gave him the energy, the impetus to go up the ladder. And what is this? This is the origin of the triptych, the center connection to God, and then the pillars of return, the polarity here, the positive and negative pillars of reconnection. And this is how it's described forever in all the traditions, and it's repeated forever. The origin of it is Giza, the location of the tree ladder at the center of the world. Where's the center of the world? The axis mundi, Giza, we're told. Okay, when the sky was near, a seemingly universal belief that in primeval times heaven was located fairly close to the earth, so close in fact that traffic between the two was commonplace. And okay, traditions of the world, a luminous ladder spanned the sky, thereby allowing for ready access to the celestial kingdom or kingdoms. The story is about the time when the sky was near. There was a tree called Ibi, well, the one in which the people used to climb up and down between the sky and the earth was the Ibi. It had many leaves, goes on and on and on. And it says there was no sun, no stars, everything was living on the earth among the people. He said then the sun and the moon left and went away, but this was caused by the insect cut down the tree and it fell. Sun and moon left and moved up to the sky forever. That's some strange stuff, but it's repeated with this connection with the sky here, Tulum, Cobas, Chichen Itza, Zamal, and a pathway of Huaxum, in the nature of this large rope supposed to be living, and in the middle of it flowed blood. It was by this rope that the food was sent to the ancient rulers who lived in the structures and ruins. I mean, whoa. Primeval deluge, it was noticed to have said to have followed the vanishing of the celestial rope. That's Papagoan. Mayans, here a giant rope served as a road to heaven, finds it close parallel to the old world thus, and blah, blah, blah. Here, even in the Ringarangu, of course, in Easter Island, they have the connection with Venus via these ropes of plasma, is what they are. Huan Su in China, famous character, observed what was happening, the distress, the violence, the confusion caused by the two worlds being too close. He thought, and he discussed it with the wise ones, and he saw that easy access between the gods and the humans was not good for either. Okay, so Huan Su resolved to change this and to break the physical links between heaven and earth. He ordered the two gods, Chung and Li, to cut down the ladder, just how it's described in Kim, Egypt, the ladder. And that's because a plasma filament, when it, well, okay, just simply put, plasma filaments can look several different ways. It can look like a stream or a wisp, and as it gets more power, it can look like it's twisting into ropes, because that's actually what a plasma stream does. It's concentrically, alternately rotating polarities around each other. But wait, why am I talking about this stuff here? But anyway, this complex made the connection. Originally, this was built. It had the power. It ran for years, I'm sure, maybe 1,000 years, maybe thousands of years before the cataclysm happened. And then they added these structures, which helped create the field necessary to draw down the energy again. And that's the story of your Giza, the origin of the triptych, the connection to the God and the returning connections, the supporting connections on either side, usually representing some kind of polarity. And this pyramid, I can tell you, because the way the granite is applied, I think is originally designed that way, because granite has special energetic or energy carrying characteristics. So it's actually a really good stone to carry electricity and develop charges. So Giza, the origin of the triptych, the original place of the rope ladder, the stairway to heaven, whatever you want to call it, that was this point. They called this Magat, where the rope ladder connected from heaven to earth. And that was the place where the gods came and went, as is described in every culture around the world. And they each had these structures that were designed slightly differently, but the principle was the same. These pyramids were built around the world and used by all these cultures over thousands of years. And we're only now rediscovering this. It's interesting. I'll get into more of the internal design and how it functioned in order to open the gate of the gods and the other benefits associated with the function of something like this: energy, water treatment, and other things that go along with the added bonus of interdimensional travel. So next time, we'll talk to you soon.